Facebook rebranding itself as Meta before Meta exists, it may be looked at as another sort of sign that maybe they got a little tilted, maybe? What was your take on the sort of changing the name of the company before that business really is at scale or exists?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bubble move. Because look, when you're in an up market and the market is super frothy, we had, in hindsight, last year was a giant asset bubble funded by all this liquidity coming out of the Fed and the federal government. So yeah, in a bubble like that, all investors care about is the growth story. And so Facebook went all in on this story around metaverse, but in the cold light of day, once the punch
sun came up.
Yeah, once the punch bowl's been taken away and you're in the hangover and you're in sort of a very volatile bear market, investors go, wait a second, this VR division is losing $10 billion a year. They lost $6 billion last year. They lost $10 billion this year. So the losses are escalating. And so in that kind of market, investors are like, wait a second, do I want to invest in a company that whose future is that unclear? I mean, if you look at this market, we've seen that the growth stocks are down 60. Today's an up day. Yesterday was a horrible day. So they're bouncing around 60, 70% down off the highs in early November. Okay. But the FANGs are only down like 14% or something like that.
Right.
But Facebook basically took themselves out of the sort of the market leader bucket and put themselves in the growth bucket by basically saying,
treat us like Peloton. We're speculative.
Why would they want to do that?
It was a terrible strategic decision, you're saying.
Well, it was a decision. It was the kind of decision where you look back with 2020 hindsight and you say, look, that kind of decision could only be made in a bubbly, frothy market. You would never make that decision in the kind of down market you have today. And other decisions look stupid as well. So PayPal was just down 25%. Okay.
Why was it down? Yeah.
Well, they just,
no growth in users?
It was mostly on the forecast. And yeah, they revised their forecast down considerably. And of course, they tried to blame it on the economy, but other companies, Amazon just had a huge beat relative to expectations.
Yeah.
They're up 15% today. So not everybody is blaming the macroeconomic picture the way that PayPal did. Any event, my point is, you go back 6 months ago, and what was PayPal doing? I wrote a story for Barry Weiss for her Substack about how PayPal was taking the lead in financial deplatforming. They were working with the ADL and the SPLC to identify groups to kick off their platform. So that's what management was spending their cycles on, figuring out how not to grow, how to kick people off their platform, and trying to figure out how to get more people on it.
Sounds familiar. Who else is trying to kick people off their platform?
It's the kind of thing you do when you're in a frothy market and your stock is up and you're feeling
distracted.
Triumphant. You can waste your management cycles on stuff like that. Now their stock is down 25%. You have to wonder, gee, do we wish we had spent our time on other things?